What up? What up? Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Today is Tuesday, July 9th. Hope you're doing well. We're going to get started here. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so for people to jump on. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Hope you're doing well, and we'll get started here momentarily. We got Anthony in the house so far. We got Mr. Mankey, love the handle, and we've got quite a few people rolling in here now. So welcome to the live stream. We're going to get started here in about 15 seconds. Sorry, I was a little late starting the stream today. It's my brother's birthday, so I just got off the phone wishing him a happy birthday and went a little bit later than planned. So all good if it's for family. We've got the dynamic duo in the house. Welcome. Thanks for joining the live stream. All right, let's get things kicked off. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. Your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. As I mentioned, it's Tuesday, July 9th. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the Tilray chart. There was also some news out today with regards to a medical study for people over the age of 50, and just goes to show you their commitment to, the overall well-being of individuals around the world. And we'll take a look at the chart. There's a bullish reversal pattern that I mentioned in the previous video. It did confirm. So we're looking at north of $2. I believe the exact target was 204. But we'll take a look at that in due time. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As always, this is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. You should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. Also, you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And just want to bring up the views here. I couldn't believe it. Check today, less than 40,000, so about 38,000 views away from that coveted 1 million view mark. So really appreciate all the support. I posted earlier today that I'm going to be doing a giveaway once we reach that 1 million view mark, but I anticipate that to happen really anytime. Like, it could be this month. More than likely sometime before the end of this month. I'm going to be going to PEI to visit my family. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do it when I'm in PEI or when I get back. We'll see what happens. But I really do love each and every one of you who supported me along the way. And I'll be giving away a hat as well from powmerch.ca. You can just pick any hat, and I'll give away an annual membership to the Pow Group community as well, just as a thank you for that. Like I said, it's been a journey the last several years, and looking forward to many more. So really do appreciate all of the support. Also, before we jump to the content, this video is sponsored by Bitget. Bitget is a crypto exchange with over 25 million users and 10 billion in USDT in trading volume. They're also they're partnered with Lionel Messi, the official partner of Bitget as well. They also offer a variety of trading options, and they have the largest crypto trading platform. So if you're looking to start your crypto journey, I know a lot of people that follow me on this channel, you also follow crypto. So if you're wondering, where's a great place to buy all different types of altcoins, this is a great exchange. I've used it. I can vouch for the platform. And they have tons of sign-up bonuses as well. And they also have a promotion on where you can enjoy 20% APR for first-time savings. So just for holding USDT in an account, you can sign up for that. The principal and interest is guaranteed. You can subscribe and redeem at any time. So full transparency. Like I said, this is a paid promotion with them and a collaboration with Bitget. And they also have great transparency with industry-leading proof of reserve ratios. So if you'd like to learn more, you can visit the link in the description. And if you use our link, it helps the channel out, and you can get quite a bit of bonuses as well. So there's some news from Tilray today with regards to their medical division. So they announced scientific study on medical MJ for patients over the age of 50. So we'll go through some of the key highlights here. Obviously they're a huge company, and at the end of the day, most of us are here for the recreational aspect, right? But what we really need to get straight is that this is medicine of the future, right? This is really making people's lives better. And at the end of the day, this isn't going to go away. We're so early, it's not even funny. We're not even legal in the US, right? It's still federally illegal. There's going to be so much more studies being done, across the globe as we look for global reform. But we'll go through some of the key points I just wanted to mention here at the end here. So Tilray's medical mission is to continue transforming lives and fostering dignity for patients in need through access to medical MJ. And today is a leading provider in EU GMP certified medical MJ with products in over 20 countries. With a comprehensive portfolio of THC, CBD products, Tilray has supported medical trials globally across Europe, Canada, United States, Australia, and Latin America, studying the efficacy of medical MJ as a treatment for indications including pediatric epilepsy, refractory pediatric epilepsy, you got cancer-induced nausea and vomiting, HIV, etc., tremors, you got breast cancer disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, and alcohol use disorders. And it's kind of interesting too because, they're into alcohol, right? They have alcohol beverage, their alcohol beverage segment of their business. But, that's more of the recreational standpoint, and at the end of the day, alcohol isn't going away either. But I think, with the help of, with this amazing plant, it's going to, it's probably going to eat into some of those profits, obviously, with regards to like long-term, viability of alcoholic drinks. I always kind of found it weird that, we saw a lot of MJ companies getting into alcohol, but I mean, it's not going away. So we kind of just have to accept it for what it is. So if you can give them a healthier alternative, right? You can have your alcoholic beverages, but also promote the realism that, this is something that is poison, right? Like there's not really that much benefit to alcohol. Maybe sometimes there's some slight benefit to it, but at the end of the day, promote healthier alternatives, right? And, it goes to show you that the company is one of a kind. It's a class act, and, it's a huge company, right? We've got over 20 countries. It's just the beginning. We're just starting to see, they're talking about, sleep deprivation and stress, anxiety, all this stuff that we know it will help with. But like I said, what if, in 10, 20 years, with the help of AI, we find out that it can help cure cancer, which we probably, most of us probably already believe that to some degree it does, and it can, but we just don't have all of the information, right? And like I said, I think that I'm a huge believer of MJ and medicine of the future. I think that it's going to change people's lives, but I'm also, a realist, and people are going to want to consume things that aren't necessarily good for them, right? They're going to smoke cigarettes, they're going to, smoke tobacco, they're going to consume some alcohol, right? But as long as we have the healthy alternative like MJ, I think it's just an overall positive thing. And then, like I said, over the years, we're going to see more and more breakthroughs. Went on a little bit of a tangent, but I just, when you see some of the things that these companies are doing, you have to kind of step back and think that we're thinking 10, 20 years down the road. Like this is really going to change people's lives, in my opinion, like for the better, right? It's not just about, smoking a J with your friends on whatever Friday, Saturday night, or, unwinding at night, right? Like this is actually changing people's lives who are living a life of, disease or some sort of unease, right? So, and can really help people's lives at the end of their life, right? If they're terminally ill and things like that. So something that, I think we need to focus on a lot more, and kudos to them for doing that. So if you recall, I posted a video as well. When was this? This was 12 days ago. Wow, time flies. So I mentioned that Tilray Brands was targeting $2 USD, and the daily oversold bounce would likely be underway soon. And I did some analysis saying that the analysis said that the inverse head and shoulders, which was a bullish reversal pattern, could be forming. It was a little premature, but basically played out to perfection. So we had our left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we take the measured move from the head to the neckline, and you've got a measured move of about $2.04. And in order to confirm it, I said we needed to break above 182. And this came after we just confirmed a daily bear flag. We had a target of 155, and we hit 161. It was actually a double bottom there. So we came, sometimes you undershoot, sometimes you overshoot, but we knew to be expecting another leg down, and that's exactly what we got. So we came, in terms of percentage, we came about 3.5% away from that. So when we formed this right shoulder here, that gave us that bullish reversal pattern. And essentially all this is just showing bear exhaustion, right? You're seeing the left, the head, the right, which is usually a daily high or low, and then a daily uptrend confirming. We had our low, high, higher low, and higher high. So usually on that right shoulder is the end of the downtrend, and then you confirm a higher low. It gives you that reversal, that trend change, and then that inverse head and shoulders, which is the psychology behind this pattern. And then we also had I think it was a 30-minute equilibrium as well that we were just tightening up. We had our high, low of the dump, lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low, super tight, and then we had a bull break here. Even if you just went long there, that would have been a swing trade opportunity of about 7% just out of the break of that. And we even came back down, confirmed it as perfect support, and then broke to a higher high. And then today if you take a look at, I think it was, 5-minute charts was the most clear. So if you look at the 5-minute chart here on Tilray and then go to SPY into the end of the day, it was very similar. So I think it was just kind of following the broader market there into the end of the day. But on the daily time frame, we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well. So it looks like the reversal is in full effect. We did confirm it with a convincing break above 182. The high of the day today was 185. So I would anticipate north of $2 to be baked in at some point very soon. And like I said, we came off daily oversold territory, which tons of names were hitting daily oversold. And I mentioned that, after we had that big bull move, that more than likely daily oversold was going to come and would be a nice entry point because of the fact that we hadn't been oversold on the daily time frame since October. Look at MSOS, it hit daily oversold and then had a pretty big bounce as well, about almost 20% there. So that was a solid entry. And then the daily bear flag target was 686, and we hit 688. So again, you can't make this stuff up, right? Like if I was making this stuff up, I I don't even know. Like I deserve some sort of award for just being this big of a bullshitter. But like I couldn't even make this stuff up if I tried, right? Like how can I make this stuff up and it comes 2 pennies within hitting, right? Like it obviously works. You just need to know how to use the tools that were given to you. And then it was since October of 2023 last year, right, that we were daily oversold. So I mentioned, that was probably going to be the case. And then sure enough, MSOS did it. So what would we expect Tilray to do? Probably something similar. Came very close to its daily bear flag target, daily oversold. We were looking at an inverse head and shoulders and reversal pattern. And the great thing about this pattern is we haven't even seen the EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We're very close to seeing that occur, which gives me more confidence in thinking that we're going to see that target of 204 met. And if you haven't seen my video from yesterday, the S&P 500, I did a video on how high could it go, and we have 2 very bullish patterns on the S&P 500, so SPY ETF right now. If we zoom out to the weekly time frame here, that was on SPX that I drew that. So I'll bring that up in just a second, but it's the monthly bull flag here on SPY that I drew. So you have our low, high, the bounce, higher low, and then we confirm the higher high. Very brief consolidation, monthly bull flag confirmed. Target on SPY is 620. And then on SPX, we were talking about this yesterday. I think it was Everett and myself in the Pow Group Private community saw this. This is a perfect textbook weekly cup and handle. So you can see here the left side, the right side, the bull flag to perfection, and it says we're targeting about 610. So when you're looking at charts, it's not about a guarantee or right or wrong or predicting. It's about reacting and looking at the data. So when you want to analyze a chart, you want to be as unbiased as possible. Right? The best way to be unbiased is to start charting a name that you don't own anything in, because obviously if you own something and you're long, you only want it to go up, right? So your bias is probably going to be up. But at the end of the day, you want to try to be as neutral, unbiased, and you want to leave emotions at the door, right? You want to just be as real with your analysis as you can be, right? So when you're looking at a chart, you want to find all of these different confluences, right? You're going to find bullish things, you're going to find good things, you're going to find bad things, bearish things. But what you want to do is get to the overall meat of it and find out, okay, is 80% of what I'm seeing bullish, or is 80% what I'm seeing bearish? And then you also want to apply it to the broader market. Like what are the macroeconomic factors going on at the moment? What are some major things that we could see? We could see rate cuts at some point soon. Historically, that has been a good thing, at least in the short term, generally not in the long term. So that's something to look forward to. We have the election year, right? Usually we see upside into the election year. And then also the seasonality, usually toward Q4, Q3, Q4 is when markets start to rip. So all of that at the back of, on the back of this, it's sort of that wind at our back, so to speak, right? And then if you look at MJ, okay, well, let's look at all the catalysts for MJ, right? And then you can look at the catalysts for a sector perspective. So as of right now, the S&P 500 has a lot of confluence saying that we're going to be going north of 600. And the high that we hit was 5,600 on SPX. So SPY would be 560. What did we hit today? 557.18. So that was the high. And like I said, that monthly bull flag targeting 620, that's going to bode well for, individual names, right? That's a good market environment. But right now, MJ's not in a great position. So I'll be completely honest with that, right? Like if we look at the broader market, you come over to a name like this, you look at an MJ's, pretty much any MJ chart for the most part, most of them are down 80, 90%. So you can say that, okay, well, that's generally not a good thing, right? Why are we at 52-week lows and all-time lows when the broader market is at all-time highs and 52-week highs? So you got to factor that in. If the S&P 500 were to see any meaningful correction, we would not be set up that well at all. So that just might tell you to, okay, maybe I'm not going to park all of my investing capital or all of my trading capital into this sector right now, right? Like these are all things. And you might be thinking, well, thanks for telling me now, Rod. Like I don't have any dry powder left. Now you're just pissing me off, right? It's why didn't you tell me this, years ago or months ago? Well, the fact is you're learning it now. So, and if you're wondering, well, that's great, but how can it help me? Well, it can help you in the future because there's going to be another 90% correction in MJ, right? So by knowing this, that MJ has been in a almost 4 year bear market, while the rest of the broader market and big tech, crypto, AI has been in a multi-year bull market, right? So again, this is why I always say I have more crypto money invested into crypto than I do MJ. So, and again, that's not because I like crypto more than MJ. That's because we've been in a bull market since March of 2020 on crypto, and we haven't exited really a bull market since. Whereas MJ saw a huge move up into 2021 and then just a brutal bear market ever since, right? Into February 2021. So hopefully that's helpful. And in this chart here, yeah, it was this one here. So stock charts, we're seeing a bull cross of the stochastic. What do I always say? It's usually the stochastic that sees the cross first, whether it be bullish or bearish. In this case, it's bullish. Then we usually see a close above the 10-week moving average. Then we get the MACD follow through and bull cross. So we're very close to seeing the MACD and the 10-week moving average candle close. So 178 is the 10-week moving average. So if we can close this week over 178, that's going to tilt the scales in favor of the bulls and add to that bullish momentum. And the fact that we have that IHS target as well of 204, and then we should see after a weekly candle close over 178, we should see that MACD bull cross follow through on the weekly time frame as well, which will add to bullish momentum. And then look at this. So remember that 204 target? I didn't even notice. The 50 weekly's at 204 and we're below it. So the next time we come up to it, it's going to act as resistance. So this is what I'm talking about. It's called confluence. Like I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried, right? I'd be the best bullshitter on earth. But like 204, right? Like you can't make this stuff up. It's just, you call it whatever you want. We live in a simulation, whatever. Puppet masters, pulling the strings, whatever it is, to quote blockchain backer. I think it is. But, at the end of the day, all of these levels, they mean something, right? And it's generally just data and trends. And, that's all charting is basically human emotion and figuring out, buying and selling patterns and things like that, right? How people are feeling at any particular time. And you can see the emotion through the chart. That's essentially all it is, right? Buyers and sellers. And then after that, we have a lack until 242. And then we also have the 200-day moving average there at 194. So if we can get over that, we've got some runway there on the daily time frame, and we're actually gearing up for another golden cross as well with the 50 below the 200-day moving average. And then something I wanted to point out as well, I mentioned on the daily time frame, we're gearing up for a daily EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We're also very close to seeing a weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, and then the monthly wouldn't be long after that. That would be the first in history. So the monthly is still quite a ways away, so that's why I'm thinking it's probably going to be, sometime September, October, where the MJ industry is really going to start to heat up. But I would say, as of right now, it's probably just going to be some slow action, I don't think we're going to drop to lower lows from here, but, maybe we come back down for one more leg down, maybe a 5-10% chance that we drop to a lower low from the low there at 150. I really don't think that's going to happen. I think the most likely scenario is that we just kind of tighten up, go sideways, and then slowly make our way back up toward 340 resistance into the end of this month, into August. And then after the comment period's over, there was some news today as well that the GOP House Committee is looking to block through a bill, looking to block rescheduling. Don't listen to it. Like I said, they're going to be trying to do this. They're going to be playing mind games. They're going to be, SAM, all these, anti reform agencies or programs or whatever you want to call them. They're going to continue to try to stifle this, right? So they're going to try to spread as much FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. In my opinion, it's all noise. At the end of the day, the House, it wouldn't get past the Senate, right? The Senate is Dem controlled. And at the end of the day, this initiation, this whole rescheduling initiative was started by the executive branch, right? So it was started by the executive branch. Then we had HHS and FDA saying, get with the program, let's get this done, time to reschedule it. And, there's no need to delay. and then the DEA and DOJ signed off on it. So we have the executive branch, we have the DEA, we have the DOJ as a whole, we have the HHS and FDA as an agency within that department, all signing off on it. Everything else is just noise. In my opinion, Schedule 3 is at least a done deal, bare minimum, and then maybe a slight chance that we get descheduling. But at the end of the day, it's all just noise. I think we're going to continue to trend higher leading into the end of the comment period. I think it's going to be overwhelmingly successful. And I actually asked Grok in the, I posted in the POW Group private community today. Let me see if I can bring it up here real quick. Yeah, so I said, what are the odds we get rescheduling in the United States to Schedule 3? And Grok agreed. The context suggests that while the rescheduling process is underway, it is not yet finalized, but the timeline for finalization is uncertain. However, it is mentioned that the process could potentially be completed before the upcoming election. So that's what I've been saying for a while now, and I thought I would just ask Grok to see what Grok thought, which is X's AI bot. And the same thing, right? Like, at the end of the day, when it comes to charting and looking at markets and whatnot, yes, you can look at the technicals. Yes, you can look at the fundamentals, but then also take a common sense approach. Like, what would you do if you were the president of the United States and you were basically put in power because of your pro-MJ stance, and you've done absolutely diddly squat since you got put in office? Well, wouldn't you want to get at least something done, right? Whether it be incremental or full-blown legalization, who cares? As long as you get something done, and rescheduling would be, something that at least they could say, we got this done, and this is the biggest thing in the MJ industry to date. So I think that just makes sense, right? And then again, all of this, isn't going to happen overnight. I've been studying the financial markets for almost 20 years. So after a while, you just start to, kind of figure this stuff out and think about things like, abstract, thinking outside the box. And one thing I like to do is pretend like I'm a Wall Street crook, like a market maker, right? Like a financial institution on Wall Street. And what would I do, right? What I would do is I would put out as much FUD and uncertainty as possible, right? And noise to try to shake everybody out and keep prices down as long as I can, so I can accumulate as much as I can at rock bottom prices without moving the price too much. Because if they buy a lump sum, they're going to skyrocket the price, and then all of retail is going to get triggered, and they're going to, it's going to trigger a big wave of retail investors. As of right now, no one knows about it. Like, no one's talking about it. None of my friends talk about MJ stocks. None of my family talks about it, right? When you're getting into a cab, or, when you're at the grocery store and someone's talking to you about MJ stocks and, have you seen MJ stocks lately? That's when things are probably getting overheated, right? But they want to keep it as low as possible for as long as possible, and they want to do so because they can accumulate more without driving prices up, right? They can just come in and buy, 1 million shares or whatever, then it's going to skyrocket the price, and that's going to turn a lot of heads, and then it's going to get a lot of retail investors interested, and they don't want to do that. They want to drag it out. They want to bore people. They want to, just make you as impatient as possible. And I reshared that quote in the POW Group private community today, that the stock market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient, right? So again, we waited 3-4 years now, and I know a lot of people are getting frustrated. Even today, Tilray went up to like $1.85, pulled back 10 cents. At the end of the day, it's just noise. Like, we're going to be going higher from here. Unfortunately, it's not looking like it's anytime soon. It's probably going to be another couple of months of boredom and sideways action. And then I think into August, September, we're going to get a big push into the elections. And I think we're going to get, in September, October, I think we're going to get the official ruling where rescheduling is official. And it will get rescheduled to Schedule 3 as the most likely scenario. Like I said, maybe a 5-10% chance it gets descheduled. There's a bunch of bills going through. We got the MORE Act with like 91 co-sponsors now from the update from a few months ago, I think it was. And there's also the CAOA. So there's multiple bills right now in Congress to deschedule MJ. It's just, is it going to gain enough traction? But I think that's ultimately where we'll get. But Schedule 3, I'm pretty sure that's a done deal. Like, I'm as close to 100% positive on that as I can be. Jumping into the chat here. So, good afternoon. When do you think Tilray will be over $10? Any chance we could see prices go up like meme stocks? I think so, yeah. Like, it was one of the big meme stock favorites, SNDL as well. So whenever it starts running, once the forces, the powers that be, the forces behind the selling pressure stop, eventually, yeah, they'll unleash the shackles. And, like I said, once you see, like, we haven't seen MJ on a mainstream media page, right, on the front page. remember when, back in I think it was 2018 when Coca-Cola was rumored to be partnered with Aurora. I think it was right on the main page of, I can't remember if it was CNBC or BNN. It was one of those mainstream media news companies. Anyways, my point is we haven't seen that in a very long time, right? And once that happens, that's going to be when you're going to start to see the meme crowd come in. There's no point on creating any kind of meme wave right now or frenzy because it's just not popular, right? Stocks are a popularity contest, and it's just, MJ's got a bad rep right now for the last few years, right? Especially when everything's at all-time highs. So I wouldn't think $10 is going to be anytime soon. I would say, a slight chance that we see $10 before the end of the year, given the right catalyst. There was also a poll out today. Let me just bring it up. MJ News. Yeah, here. Florida MJ legalization bid headed to victory, poll suggests from Forbes. So directly from Forbes.com, Florida's Amendment 3 to legalize recreational MJ has enough voter support to pass in this November's general election, according to 2 recent polls. So, like I said, I've been very confident that we're going to get Schedule 3 at the bare minimum with a slight chance of descheduling, join the likes of Germany and Canada, but ultimately I think that's where we'll go. That's where we'll end up, but I don't think we're going to get there right now. I think Schedule 3, we'll take that incremental approach. We'll get Schedule 3. I think it's a done deal, and I've always been saying that I think Florida's going to approve adult use legalization. It's probably not going to be by a lot. I think it's going to be somewhere around 61 to 65% is going to be the number. But all we need is 60. So let's go. And those 2 catalysts alone, rescheduling in Florida, get ready. Germany looking to fast track Pillar 2 as well. Things are looking interesting. And we also know that the Ontario Attorney General has been talking about tabling excise tax as the next major issue. So they're trying to get that lowered. And again, call it a simulation, call it God pulling, call it puppet masters pulling the strings. Why are we seeing excise tax in Canada a main focus right around the same time as rescheduling? 280E, right? Well, we can't have these companies in the U.S. gain a major advantage over the companies in Canada because all of these Canadian companies have investments from American companies, right? Look at Altria in Kronos. Look at Imperial Brands in Oxley. Look at British American Tobacco in Organigram. Look at Constellation Brands in Canopy Growth. This is all planned. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, right? It's all planned. Nothing in the financial markets happens without multiple years of planning, right? They know exactly what they're doing, and it comes from the higher ups, right? They're all in bed together, and it has to do with lobbying, right? Their constituents, their incumbents, the big alcohol, big tobacco, big pharma, right? They have the most to lose, and they're the ones that basically have the weight when it comes to these politicians because they're all bought and paid for, right? Most of them. I'd say 95%. We just opened an MJ Lounge near a strip club in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nice. That's awesome. Well, it sounds like a good location. Probably good for business. But, yeah, you don't want people falling asleep, though. You got to give them some Red Bulls or something. Hopefully they got some energy drinks there. Let's go, dude. I saw the news and I was like, man, I hope Pow does it. Does a video or goes live or something, then I look at my notifications and here you are. Let's go. I'm not sure what you mean the news. What news were you talking about? Out here smoking on the back porch, here to celebrate Ohio and Tilray. What was the news? Did I miss something? I know Ohio's going. There was an article out about it. I didn't see anything recently. I did see one article saying Ohio could start soon. Yeah, it was this one here. When will Ohio launch adult use MJ sales? Calendar is flipped into July, and Ohio regulators have yet to grant any final approvals. The delays are unwelcomed reality for local operators who hope to cash in the yada yada yada. Came and went. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now, but let me know what news were you talking about? The Tilray medical news in the study. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. When you get to questions, what is your thoughts on the bill from the House which would prevent the descheduling? Doubt it passes the Senate. That's what took the sector down. Yeah, so I mentioned that dynamic. But if you take a look at at Tilray and at the end of the day, like I said, on the 5-minute time frame, like look at that and then look at SPY. Like they're pretty similar, right? Like this whole period here is quite similar to that. Like it just sold off with the broader market into the end of the day. But yeah, that might have played some factor, right? That might have. I'll just bring it up here really quick in case anybody missed it. I was discussing it earlier. I think I answered most of your question, but it was this one right here. GOP Congressional Committee approves bill to block MJ rescheduling while rejecting state MJ protections amendment. So this came from the House. So it was a House-led committee and GOP. So yeah, as if you scroll down, it says right here, it's far from clear that the Democratic-controlled Senate would go along with the proposal, however. So, in my opinion, this is just a nothing burger. Like, it wouldn't pass the Senate. There's no way in hell. It'd be different if the executive branch didn't say we should focus on doing a review and then call on HHS to do a review, and then HHS and FDA say, yeah, Schedule 3, and then the DOJ and DEA say, yeah, Schedule 3. Like if those 4 agencies in the executive branch didn't all want rescheduling, I would say like I'd be a little bit worried here. But I think this is just noise, and given the timing on it, right before July 22nd, the end of the comment period, the 60 days, all of the comments are, super positive. If we just scroll down, I think I posted, reshared not too long ago. Yeah, right here. Yeah, so we have 28,387 comments so far, right? And I guarantee you at least 90 to 95 of them, 90 to 95% of them are positive. So, again, they're just probably scared that, and, they're just doing the bidding. They don't want industries to get too big too quickly. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Nancy Pelosi's still loading her bags too, so you got to think about that. You got to think of the Pelosi's, right? The JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs. Oh, did I mention Goldman Sachs? Goldman Gary is the head of the SEC, right? Like it's so intertwined and corrupt. It's almost like sickening, right? At the end of the day, but you can't beat them. You got to join them. So just learn the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game, and yeah, It truly is a nasty game. Like it's a dog eat dog game, and they want to crush everybody. Right? They have nothing. They don't care about anything else other than themselves. And even during the Bitcoin frenzy, when Bitcoin was first coming on the block, JP Morgan was saying if it would fire all of its employees, any of its employees who talked about crypto to any of their clients, and then it was later on proved that they were buying the most crypto. Like it's just so unethical, right? And there's nothing illegal about that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to pass. I don't think it will pass the Senate. I think it's just FUD. And it won't be the last. Like, we'll probably see additional lawsuits. We'll see all kinds of crazy stuff. So, Hot Doc, how you doing? It's always tricky to buy the bottom / falling knife. Yeah, I mean, if you're a trader, then, that's kind of a trading term, right? A falling knife comes from, like, the technical analyst trader mindset. So if you're buying, if you look at an investor mindset, like a Warren Buffett, he always says buy great companies when there's blood in the streets, right? So what you want to do is you want to buy when there's blood in the streets. And, dollar cost averaging is another strategy that you can do because no one knows where the bottom is. Just like no one knows where the top is, right? No one knows where the top of anything is. Like imagine in 2021 saying that, some of these MJ companies were going to go from a few bucks to like $60. Like nobody would have saw that coming in a few months, right? When the Dems took control of the Senate and Biden got sworn into office, right? So that was just on hopes of legalization. Now imagine what happens after it legalizes and then 5 to 10 years after that when we hit the blue chip phase, right? So, what happens if we, with the help of AI, we find out that, we just found the cure for cancer, with the help of AI and MJ. Like imagine, right? Like I'm not saying, I should be careful what I say because some people are probably going to think like, oh my God, it actually does. And say, no, like I'm just saying it could, right? Like I truly believe that it has cancer curing properties. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, so I can't, I don't have the exact, but again, I've seen multiple reports. I've seen, how many people die from smoking MJ? Zero, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I know MJ is not going anywhere. It's going to be here 5, 10, 20 years from now. The U.S. isn't even legal at the federal level yet, and we're at all-time lows on a lot of names, or 52-week lows. I'm going to take advantage, and I'll just continue to buy the rock-bottom prices. But if you're a trader, then you want to be buying near support. You want to be using a stop loss, right? You want to have a plan. Whereas, if you're investing, you're probably not using a stop loss, right? You're looking 5, 10, 20 years out on where the prices are going to be, not where they are currently, right? What happens to MJ if Trump gets elected? Great question, Adam. So essentially, he's very pro-state law, so he doesn't really care at the end of the day. Like I think he's for medical, as far as I'm aware. I'm definitely not a U.S. politics expert, but I'm pretty sure he's in favor of medical use and leaving the states to decide, like leaving it up to the states, and which I think is very smart, right? Like we need to get away from these 3-letter agencies, these unelected bureaucrats who are power hungry and greedy and corrupt, and rely on Congress. Like the Congress was put there for a reason, was to pass comprehensive and bipartisan laws and legislation, right? And we can't get any kind of cooperation. Like it's always butting heads, right? We can't get anything done. Like Elizabeth Warren, senator out of Massachusetts, I think she only passed one bill in her entire career, and I think she's been in office she's been in the Senate for over a decade or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but they're there getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they're not doing anything. They're just there trying to slow things down, or their ego is so big, or I think they're probably just doing the bidding of the elites, right? And they're just trying to slow things down at the end of the day. And then once, the shackles are released, look at Tesla, right? After, we got all the support from the U.S. government, and then it just absolutely flew, right? And now everybody loves Tesla. But before, mainstream media was saying, oh, Toyota makes more cars in a month than Tesla in a year, and Tesla's never going to be profitable, blah, blah, blah. They almost went bankrupt, which they did. They almost went bankrupt, but so did Apple. And in 1997, Microsoft gave them $150 million, and now Apple, on any given day, could be worth more than Microsoft, right? So it's also obvious when you think about it. Is it harder for Tilray to achieve a quicker price increase due to share counts being 800 million plus when MJ market gets a bull run? Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's tons of MJ companies that have 800 million, 500 million. Some through reverse splits now have 60 million. But at the end of the day, I don't, as long as the demand is there, right? As long as there's enough demand, it doesn't really matter what the supply is, right? And I think Irwin Simon said it best, that in one day, they had almost as I'm pretty sure what he said was, in our stock, we had almost as many shares traded as Apple, and I'm pretty sure he said Tesla. So let that sink in for a second. And if you take a look at some of the share counts of some of these big tech companies, they're in the billions, right? So, hi Rod, can you discuss the price targets on Ayr Wellness? I'll have to do that one for another video. This too shall pass. I'd like to. Thanks for your question as well, Michael. But yeah, I'm closing in on 40 minutes here, so I want to try to keep it related to Tilray as much as possible. Perhaps I'll do another. It's been a while since I've done an AYR video, so maybe I'll do one. That's a great idea for a video. I'll try to get that out in the near future here. Hope all is great with you and the Fam Jam. Much love. Thank you very much. Much love as well. Appreciate it. Yeah, we went for a family picnic yesterday. It was the first picnic that our family went to, so it was absolutely beautiful yesterday. It was 32 degrees. Not a bit of wind either. It was just gorgeous. And then, my family going to be going to visit them in PEI here in a couple weeks. And then my brother's birthday today, so I was a little late starting the stream because I was finishing up a conversation with him. I invested too much in Tilray. Weiss, I think it is. Kabiri or Weiss. Isn't that the truth, right? A lot of people are kind of in that same boat where they broke the golden rule, or perhaps they didn't even know what the golden rule is. And what I always say, the golden rule is never invest any more than you're willing to lose, right? And that's quite often a very valuable lesson because, it takes your money being evaporated 80 to 90% plus before you realize that very important lesson, right? And I don't know how many people I've coached or talked to, and I told them, don't break the golden rule. Don't invest any more than you're willing to lose. And they're always like, yeah, no, I know. And then, like, I was one of them too. I heard this and I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And, I lost 80, 90% of my money. And then I was like, I was humbled by Mr. Market, right? And that's the saying. You always get humbled by Mr. Market. And, everybody thinks you have a couple wins and you think you're, on top of the world. And yeah, one thing that leads after another. You make one mistake and then, you start to question yourself. You're like, okay, I'm a long-term holder now, right? And then it's like, okay, well, now I'm starting to worry and now I'm down 50, 60%. And then you sell the bottom at 80, 90%. And then it skyrockets another couple 100%, right? And then it's just rinse, repeat. So, from I invested too much, I could give so many lessons on that. First would be never invest any more than you're willing to lose. Learn from it, diversify, right? Buy other stocks, not just Tilray. You could buy other MJ stocks, other Canadian producers. You could buy some U.S. producers. You could buy some retailers, not just producers. You could hold cash in case things dip. You could look to dollar cost average, save some dry powder just in case. You could buy some real estate. You could buy some crypto. You could buy some other stocks, right? All of these things can help with that. So I feel for you. Unfortunately, the whole sector is down 80, 90+% though. Look at High Tide, right? The great company, great fundamentals. Positive free cash flow. Just an absolute monster of a company, one of the fastest growing companies in Canada and in North America. And the stock was down today. And, it's still down 80, 90%, I think, from its all-time high. So fundamentals don't matter. The sector moves together, and that's because it's a nascent industry, right? And it's so manipulated, and there's just not a lot of volume in it right now. And a lot of retail investors can't invest in MJ, right? A lot of brokers block different MJ companies, etc. So, but the great thing is prices are still low, and if you're looking, again, not financial advice, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, but prices are still absurdly low and undervalued. So if you can always take advantage of lowering your cost basis, right? I can wait for Tilray to go up in price. My only worry is a reverse split. Yeah, so that's another thing too, Anthony, right? Is you have to look at what all these other companies have done in the space, and pretty much every other major tier one MJ company has done so. So I will say though, the fact that Tilray is knocking on $2, right? We're just under $2. It hit 185 today USD. We're a long ways off before we ever have to worry about reverse split. We'd have to drop below $1 and then be under $1 for 30 days. And then we would give 6-month, 180-day extension, grace period to regain that. And then, they could even get another extension after that. There's been some companies that got 180 days, then 180 days after that. So we're at least a year or two, before we have to worry about that, in my opinion. And I really don't think we're going to have to with all of the catalysts that we have on the horizon. This is totally random, but I know you buy crypto. Any thoughts on Jasmy, Japan's Bitcoin? Yeah, thanks, Matthew, for the question. I'm just going to try to keep it centered around MJ. To be honest, I've never heard of that, and I had a very bad gut feeling about it. I mean, yeah, Japan's Bitcoin, it just sounds like a marketing ploy to get rug pull people. I'd be very cautious on that. I know Japan's very pro crypto, but I do feel like I have to give a public service announcement here, and I'd just be very careful on that. I think there's a lot better projects out there that warrant our hard-earned money, and I'd be very, very cautious of that one. If you're going to buy that one, I'd say kiss all of that goodbye. Learn from Wes. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Kabiri, we'll call him Kabiri. Learn from him. I invested too much in Tilray, right? Never invest any more than you're willing to lose. And if you're going to invest in Bitcoin, that's a Japan version, I would say be prepared to lose it all and expect to lose it all. Don't expect to get 10x or 100x. I would say expect to lose it all with a slight chance of seeing a 10x, right? And then from there, you'll never be disappointed. And, if you're going to put $500 into it, $1,000, the most you can lose is $500,000, and then the upside's limitless from there. So that's how I'd approach that. There's always something to worry about, so don't worry, be happy. Yeah, very, very true. No way, man. They will need the tax money. Too bad to pass it up. Yeah, and not to mention the jobs that it will create, not to mention the help with the opioid crisis and Look at the talks of fentanyl and all that stuff. Right now with the DEA and all these congressional hearings, the failed war on drugs, and it's been told that MJ is a great alternative to that, like terpenes and whatnot, and different MJ compounds are a great alternative to opioids. So, it's not just tax money. It's also jobs. It's tax money. It's making people's lives better. It's fighting the opioid crisis and addiction, and just living an overall better life, like healthier alternative to alcohol. Right? Alcohol is poisoning, and it's literally killing a lot of people, right? Like, what is it? I think tobacco kills 400,000 people a year just in the U.S. alone, and MJ kills zero. It has never killed anyone. So there's never been one death attributed directly to MJ. If you're driving a car, smoking a joint, and you die, well, that's not MJ. That's you driving a car under the influence, right? So, there's so many reasons for them to pass it, and like I said, it's going to happen eventually. It's just all this red tape that we have to go through, and noise and rigmarole, right? It's just to protect the incumbents, right? The big pharma, they made billions of dollars off getting people addicted to opioids. Now they're like, oh crap, we have an alternative that's better than opioids, and it's good for you and might cure cancer. Oh God, we got to slow this down, and we got to find out how to get all over this, right? Because I used to work for a pharmaceutical company, and I can assure you, for 2 years, they basically put everything on hold until they could figure out how to get into CBD and like the MJ industry. And they weren't long putting fence around the perimeter, getting security cameras. That's some of the prerequisites you need to get your Health Canada license, right? And for like 2 years, all I heard was different cannabinoid terms. So believe me, and they were in the opioid game. They were selling opioids. I won't name any names, but they were selling opioids. They got fined billions of dollars through that involvement, and then just couldn't get enough of MJ. So what does that tell you? I noticed AYR dropped today, so curious on how low you might think it might go. I've watched for daily oversold if it's not there already. A lot of MJ has been getting daily oversold, so including Tilray, including MSOS ETF, tons of daily oversold territory. So I think the drop is just following the rest of the sector, right? FUD, says Jamlosi. It's obvious, it's all BS. Yeah, it's just, it's like, what did Ron DeClown get out of Florida? Like $10,000 for his anti-MJ stance, and then all these pro-MJ alliances or whatever campaigns are getting like millions and millions. So it's ridiculous, right? Like I truly believe that he doesn't even like want to be in power. Like he's just doing the bidding for the incumbents he's bought and paid for, and eventually he's going to be voted out because obviously people are going to see through this, but he's in power now, and he's going to be as big of a clown as he can be until he gets voted out, right? That's obvious, and it's obvious that he doesn't give a shit. Like he doesn't care about any of us. He doesn't care about the American people. He hates America, as far as I'm concerned. If he cared about America and he cared about its people, well, like 2/3, if not more, of the U.S. want it legalized. So drop the nonsense, right? It's all BS for sure. He's the valedictorian of clown school. So buy low and sell high, absolutely. If you're an investor, that is, right? MSOS, daily oversold as well. Pretty weak, though. I'll have to do another update on MSOS soon. I think I did one not too long ago. You can check that out if you haven't seen that, though. Do you like SNDL? Yeah, I do own it in my portfolio dynamic. It's not my biggest position, but I've been slowly adding to it this year, and it's climbing up there. I'll have to do another MJ portfolio update. I did one at the beginning of 2024 with percentages and everything, but I'll have to do another one here in the second half of 2024. With an updated breakdown. But yeah, I do like SNDL. I like how they're differentiated. I just did a video. They agreed to acquire Indiva, and then also bought some of the debt from Delta 9. So secured creditor status there. And they're big into alcohol retail, MJ retail. So they're very differentiated from that front. I don't know of any other MJ company that's doing MJ retail and alcohol retail. And they're a producer as well. So they do pay excise tax from that front. Like excise tax is only for producers, right? So like a High Tide, why do you think they're doing so well with their numbers, right? It's because they don't have to pay excise tax. But who makes the most money long term? Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, the maker of the beer, or the retail companies selling Budweiser's beer? Well, we all know it's the manufacturers, the producers that make the most, right? That's why they get charged an excise tax. They get charged an excise tax because they're making money hand over fist, and the government wants its money, right? It wants its piece of the pie. And then they collect sales tax on the retail front. Also, can you maybe analyze CGC and canopy growth? Yeah, I'll have to do that one again as well on another video. I want to try to keep this live stream as short as possible. Thank you, just the same. Yep, I'll do another video on CGC soon. Right back at you. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the information, Rod. You bet. My pleasure. Thank you very much, Mr. Mankey, for the contribution. I appreciate that very much. Enjoyed the stream. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. We've got Scotch Soda in the house. What do you think needs to happen to see a steady upside in MJ stocks and not pump and dumps like we regularly see? Great question. So I think big tech, crypto, and AI entering a bear market and ending a bull market will be a great sign that we're going to see a sustained bull market in MJ that could span multiple years. Also, we need to see monthly uptrends across the sector. There's still a ton of names, like Tilray hasn't even confirmed a monthly uptrend yet. There was a ton of names in the US that confirmed monthly uptrends first, and then names in Canada started to do so. So VFF, SNDL, High Tide, and Cron all confirmed monthly uptrends. Tilray is working on a monthly uptrend, but has yet to confirm it. If it holds 150 and breaks 340 from here USD, then it would be monthly uptrend confirmed. And then names like ACB and CGC, like Canopy and Aurora, they're still in monthly downtrends, right? So we need uptrends across the sector. And then in terms of catalysts, what do we need to see happen? In my opinion, we're going to get rescheduling to Schedule 3. And then I think also, that's cool, the animation that just came up there. I just noticed that. Once again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that, and then also Florida, I think that's going to pass adult use legalization. And then other states, there was 3 more red states that were looking to pass reform here, come and put reform on the November ballot. So, yeah, it's looking good, right? Couple that with excise tax reform in Canada. Like I said, around the same time we get rescheduling and 280E goes away, I think Canada excise tax is going to improve. Fast tracking of Pillar 2, so the second phase of legalization in Germany. There's so many catalysts, right? We could get uplisting and banking as well, MJ banking, as a result of Schedule 3, right? So on the back of that, I think, post rescheduling, I think we'll get banking and uplisting and some sort of safe harbor for these companies, right? So I think that's what we need to see. Long story short, we need to see quite a bit, right? So that's why I say in the charts, like, it's looking decent. I think we could go sideways for another month or two, but I think into September, October, we're probably going to get rescheduling approved. And then in November, I believe that voters will approve adult use legalization in Florida. And then after that, we'll probably get uplisting and banking, some safe harbor and whatnot, some verbiage with regards to uplisting to the NASDAQ and the NYSE. And like I said, from there, I believe somewhere around that same time too, we should see crypto and big tech enter a bear market and end its bull market. And then that'll bode well for MJ, similar to what happened in 2017, 2018, when MJ was in, kind of in limbo, and we saw bull markets end for crypto and tech, and then MJ went on to see massive upside and kind of steal the spotlight, if you will. As long as you have realistic expectations, no need to worry. Tilray is here to stay. I agree, Boris. It's definitely about having realistic timeframes, and then expanding your time horizon as well. But everybody's different, right? There's some people that might be on the stream that maybe they wanted to retire last year, right? But given the inflation and all of the things that are going on in the economy right now and the tough times that we're having, maybe those people who wanted to retire last year, their retirement has been pushed out 5 years, right? So they're just foaming at the mouth for this MJ train to get going, right? But at the end of the day, the train has left the station. It's going to happen. We just have to be patient. So I would 100% agree. We got Mr. Mankey again saying, "Pow, September 7th, Ohio has to finish all paperwork courts for finalization and sales to go live." Wow, September? Thank you very much for letting me know. That seems like a long time out. Like, it was supposed to go live like last month, I thought, and then it was this month, and then, yeah. Just goes to show you, though, right? Like, you can't have that instant gratification mindset in MJ, because there's always going to be. But I was thinking about this the other day. Every time I turn on an MJ outlet, news outlet, it's this state's got this on the ballot, whether it be medical or adult use or decriminalization. Like, there's going to be a time where we're going to be like, remember the time when, like, every single news article, like every time you turn around, it was just one state after and then another getting some sort of reform done. And then eventually it's just going to be legal everywhere in the United States. And it's just going to be a complete thing of the past, right? We're not even going to have that thought in our brain anymore. And for a lot of people, most people will forget about it. Like, imagine, like, try thinking about alcohol, for example, right? That's why I always compare it to alcohol, because it's the best thing that we have to compare it to, right? It's very similar. And I would argue that it's even better because it has the medical aspect of it too, right? And it's way healthier for you. So, if you think back to how many people do you talk to, or can you talk to, that can tell you about how the prohibition of alcohol played out, right? Like how did it play out as they were approaching the end of prohibition? How did it play out the first few years after prohibition ended on alcohol, right? Like, these are all things that it's a distant memory. Like, it's not even a memory. Most people don't even know. Like, they have to look up some sort of documentary or article or Google it, right? Like, this will be a thing of the past. And, our ancestors and our children and children's children will be like, man, you were alive during, the legalization of medicine of the future, right? So it's only going to happen once. So, at the end of the day, life is short, and, we can enjoy things, right? Enjoy the struggle, enjoy the process. It's going to be a never-ending battle, right? Nothing's easy, especially in the finance world. That's one thing I've learned for sure. But if there's anything more rewarding and worth sticking it out, it's this, right? You are so good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate all the support. And just as a reminder, really do appreciate all of the contributions to the live stream. I'm closing in. I've got 962,000 views, closing in on that 1 million mark. So like I said, I just want to say thank you very much for all of your support all over the years. And I'll be giving away an annual membership to the Power Group private community, and a hat as well of your choice. So you can just go to powmerge.ca, click on accessories, go to hats. You can pick anyone, and I'll get that to you for free. And yeah, I never thought I'd hit 1 million views, to be honest. Like, I started this channel I think I started in 2018, but I really only got comfortable making videos at the end of 2019 and into 2020. And this is just a one-man show, right? Like, I don't have like an editor. I don't have, a writer. I don't have any kind of, technical assistance. Like, I do all my own thumbnails. I do all my own editing. I do all my own research. I do all my own productions. Like, this is just a one-man show, and I truly advocate for the retail investor. There's tons of other companies, and I'm not knocking them. I'm not going to name any names. I nothing but the utmost respect for companies that are helping advance this industry and raise awareness. But at the end of the day, a lot of them have ulterior motives, and I truly believe that I am the closest thing and the best thing to a retail investor mindset and advocate that you'll get, because I am one. And that's all there is here, right? I don't have any partnerships with anybody other than, Bitget, the sponsor of this video, which is, it's just a paid promotion, right? I promote their exchange in 30 seconds, and we agreed on a set price, right? That's it, right? And that's because I've vetted the company and I've used their product, and I enjoyed it, so other people might enjoy it. And, that just comes with, building a channel. But I'm not paid by any of these companies. Like, I've never gotten any money from companies that I promote, like stocks or anything like that. Like, I'll get the odd crypto exchange and whatnot, but I don't own any shares of those stock exchanges, right? And a lot of them aren't even public companies anyway. But, I know influencers that, get paid from Coinbase. They have Coinbase as a sponsor, and Coinbase is a public company, and they probably own stock in Coinbase. Does that make it, is that good or bad? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. As long as you disclose it, it's literally illegal if you don't. But, at the end of the day, I am a retail investor, and I'm here just speaking the truth. Like, I'm not bought and paid for by anybody. Yes, I'll take on a couple sponsorships on the channel. I get a lot of people reaching out to me about stuff that is garbage. Like, I don't know how many crypto rug pulls and stuff like that people have reached out to me over the years trying to pump that. And I can smell stuff, right? Like, I usually, when my gut has a feeling, and my gut's usually right. So whether it be positive or negative, but like I said, I do my best to, bring as much raw information and truth in all that I do. And I really do appreciate all of the support. Like I said, it's been a journey, and it's been fast. Like, I can't believe I've been really pumping the channel out here for almost 5 years. So looking forward to the next 5. Anyone else selling covered calls? Yeah, see, there's a bunch of different strategy with regard to options, right? You can do the wheel strategy. You can do covered calls, and I know a couple people in the POW Group private community are essentially just trying to collect the premium and kind of rinse, repeat, money for nothing kind of mentality. But if you want to sell puts and things like that, but not really my cup of tea. A lot of people, I know tons of people that say the stock market's a casino, right? It's gambling. I don't believe that. I think that it's educated guessing, and really, I've never put in the work. I've never put in time into a company and lost all of my money. The only time I lost all of my money is when I didn't do research. I didn't do any kind of due diligence, and I just blindly listened to somebody on the internet or whatever. That's the only time I ever lost money. If I put in hundreds and thousands of hours into research into a company, I've never lost money, right? I've had companies that got bought out by other companies, like, for example, Hexo. They were a big investment of mine, but they didn't go bankrupt. I didn't lose my money. Tilray bought them, and they even said, if Tilray buys this, they're going to buy the best MJ company in the world, and I agree with that, right? And yeah, I've never lost any money from any crypto, any stock that I did hundreds and thousands of hours worth of research and due diligence into. The only time I lost money was when I was negligent or just lazy and didn't do the work, right? So what do most people do? They're in this instant gratification world, right? I know people who, I can't have a conversation with them for longer than like 30 seconds, and they're on their phone, their attention's getting pulled, and they're trying to ask me like, what's a good stock to invest into? And I'm 30 seconds into the conversation, and they're like looking at their phone, and they're like, oh man, you see this? How am I supposed to educate you on, like, I don't even know what stock you want to invest in. You just ask me what's a good stock. It's like, okay, well, what sector? And then by then they're already off onto a different, like, memory of a goldfish, right? So it's just, at the end of the day, everybody wants everything now. And kind of go back to what I was saying, the like options. Kudos to anybody who trades options and makes money at it, but I truly believe that is the casino aspect. Like, that is gambling, in my opinion, because you have to factor in time, right? And like, all these money managers are there, they're trying to burn it, right? They're trying to burn all of them as best as they can, right? And then, you got leverage. People are playing with leverage, kind of, whether it be crypto or different margin, you're doing like 100x leverage or whatever, and you can lose all your money, right? Same thing with options. But, at the end of the day, if you want to play options, I think that's a great way to learn the market. And, it's a different financial instrument and vehicle, but I would, certainly wouldn't recommend it to everybody. And, if you're going to do that, there's ways to do it with fake money as well. You can start off with paper trading. So I would even encourage that just with regular common stock, right? Hello, everyone. We have Grit and Grunt. Thank you very much. I think I got everybody. We had Wolf. Hello, hello. But they only had 3 months. There is no extension. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I wish they could get that done and over with, because every time you turn around, so Ohio, nothing's get done. So classic MJ fashion. So it is what it is, but don't worry, we'll get there eventually. And right now we have almost, I think it's 38 states that are legal at a medical level and 24 at an adult use level. And I think with Florida imminently going to approve it here in November, I think it'll easily be our 25th. And maybe, who knows, maybe we might even get a 25th before then. Casino is not gambling. It's nothing. There's nothing honest there. It's made for the owners to win. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not even really gambling. It's just like 100% guarantee you're going to lose your money. Yeah, at least gambling, it's like, oh, okay, I have like a 60-40. They say that the house is a 60-40, but it's like, no. It's definitely got to be closer to like 80 to 90% house. But yeah. All right, going in it there, over an hour. Wow, I didn't anticipate the stream to go that long, but I think at one point we had close to 100 people on the stream, so I really do appreciate it. like I said, super grateful for all of the, and not one troll. Wow, that's got to be a record too. Usually when I come on, I don't have that many trolls to begin with, to be honest, on my channel, like compared to some of the other channels I've seen in the past. But yeah, that's one thing I'm very grateful as well, is the quality of the contents or the comments and the people that we have on the streams, right? I really do appreciate it, because like I said, definitely gets to you after a while when you have all these trolls, spewing nonsense, and they blatantly attack people, like, for no reason, just because you disagree with them. I don't know what it is, right? Like, I've never seen it before. Like, we can disagree and not, fight about it, right? Like, there's no, like, you ever see like a debate, right? Like, people disagree all the time, but they're still respectful. Speaking of which, that clown show of a debate that we saw, with anyway, won't name any names, but I saw a thing on I think it was Instagram, some reel or something like that. It showed the debate, I think it was like 2012 versus 2024, and it was like Barack Obama and the other guy, and like they were so nice to each other. They're just like, oh yeah, like, congratulations, Mr. President, on your anniversary. And it was just like night and day. And I was like, so this is the state of the world that we're in today. Oh man, it's so funny. Enjoyed the stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You cannot beat the system, just throwing you a bone. Yep. Next product review. Yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. There's a few beverages coming out. One thing I was just thinking of was Jones Soda, because somebody's name was something soda. And it reminded me of Jones Soda. So that's the Mary Jones Soda, the MJ brand, is going to be coming to Ontario. It was supposed to start in Q1 of this year, but I haven't heard anything. If anybody's from Ontario and you're listening to my voice right now, let me know if you've seen them. Take care, mate. Great stream. Thank you very much. All the best to everyone. Same to you, my friend. Thank you, Wolf. Appreciate it. But yeah, if anybody has seen those in Ontario, come across them, tried them, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And hopefully, I think they said BC and Alberta wouldn't be far along after Ontario. So hopefully we can see those soon, and I'd love to review those. May even see Tilray acquire Jones Soda at some point in the not too distant future. I think that'd be a little while out. They'll probably want to pilot in Canada, test it out in Canada, see how that goes, and then potentially look at an acquisition later on down the road. Yes, Jones, I'm super hyped. Can't wait. Yeah, those are going to be dope, I think, literally. But yeah, excited to try those. Definitely be doing a review of those, and there's a few other drinks and whatnot coming down the pipe. So really enjoy the beverages. Wish I could try them. Yeah, well, like I said, I hear that all the time from people in the U.S. I wish we had that in the U.S. I wish we could try what the Canadians have, and at the end of the day, it's gonna come, right? And once it does, that's gonna be the point where we enter critical mass and where we see these blue chip companies really start to come to fruition, right? Thoughts on upcoming earnings, supposed to be this month. Yeah, so I didn't mention that, so I'll mention that real quick before I end the stream. That's a good point. Thank you for mentioning that. I did mention it, I think, in one of my previous videos. So if we take a look at Tilray here, the revenue estimate is 226 million, just under 227 million. So, and then last actual was 188 million US. So they're forecasting 226, huge jump. So we'll see. Someone commented on my video as well. It's like, why do they make it so high? And then it's like they're just destined to miss their estimate. And I would agree with that to a certain extent. Like, you have to wonder, like, why do they make it so hard for companies like Tilray to beat it? It's like their last forecast was 198 and now 226. Like, to give you some context, the one before that was 195. So they went from 195 to 198 and now 226. It's like, geez. So I wouldn't say we're going to beat, but I mean, our actual is 188 and they're forecasting last quarter, and now they're forecasting 226 USD, 227 essentially million USD. So they're seeing something here on the horizon. In terms of EPS, they're forecasting negative 0.025 USD. And then last quarter we came in at negative 0.12, so it was a big miss there and pretty poor turnout. So let's see if we can get in line with that negative 0.02. But I would say over the next 6 months or so, 6 months to a year, we should see positive EPS, or if not, very, very close to that. But yeah, revenue forecasted at 226, and I think it was forecasted for the end of the month. Just check it real quickly here. We'll want to see official confirmation from from Tilray or from the company as always, but I'll just take a look here and see what the tentative date is on investing. There we go. Earnings. Share my screen real quick. Yeah, so on here, 225, they're forecasting. And I'll do an earnings prep video as well, like I normally do. Like I usually do a earnings prep video a week or a few days before the earnings come out, and I get a consensus of all of the analyst estimates. Like if we go here to Trading View, what are they forecasting? 226. So yeah, we got 227, 226, 225. So, just running the quick numbers here, you're looking at around 226 as a consensus. And then they're forecasting negative 0.02. So yeah, somewhere around that negative 0.02 area for EPS is what they're forecasting. And like I said, 198 up to 225. It's quite the jump. But they're saying July 24th on investing.com. And then we've got same thing here on TradingView. So we'll want to see official confirmation from Tilray though. Yeah, 227, just under 227, 226.944 million on Moo. I really enjoy their estimates. I find them the most accurate, and it's based on 8 analysts, it says here. So it even shows you a little bit of insight into that. EPS was based on 2 analysts. I wonder if Tilray hits Ohio. Good question. Yeah, somebody asked me about when they get into hemp drinks. I think that'll eventually come, and then there was some speculation, why aren't they into hemp drinks? Well, you have to remember, they just acquired Truss Beverage Co., right? And Truss from Molson Coors. What was Molson Coors doing in the U.S.? Hemp. They were doing Truss CBD USA. They had Truss Beverage Co., which was the Canadian entity, and they had the Truss CBD USA, which was the hemp-derived beverages that they sold in liquor stores. So that was a collaboration and a partnership between Hexo, where Molson Coors owned the majority, right? It's 47.5 was owned by Hexo, and the rest was owned by Molson Coors. So they had the majority stake, and they reported those numbers on their financials. But because Hexo had the license for Truss Canada, they reported the numbers on their financials because they had the license. So he or she who has the license has to report. And then they got their own license, Truss, and then it went on Molson Coors financials. Then Molson Coors got out of Truss CBD USA, the hemp business in the U.S., because they said that it was due to state law. So some states don't allow it. I think it was like half the U.S., and then they have to be sold in liquor stores. You can't really promote it, as far as I'm aware. So they essentially said, we're not done forever, but we're getting out of the hemp business because it's not scalable. And when you're talking about a Molson Coors, and Tilray's getting up there to a Molson Coors now, right? They're in the billions, market cap in the billions, couple billion, and they have the number 5 position in craft beer in the U.S. already. So they're getting up there with a Molson Coors, obviously nowhere near yet, but I mean, they're not far out. What's the market cap of Molson Coors? TAP. So their market cap is 10 billion. Wow, that's a lot closer than I thought. So their market cap is just north of 10 billion, and Tilray's, I think, is 1.45 billion. So we're not that far from a Molson Coors in a Tilray brands, and we're not selling only poison. We're selling medicine of the future and poison. But and other things, right? They have, distribution business. They have their hemp business, their Manitoba Harvest, and selling in Whole Foods, I think it is, in the U.S., which I think is a subsidiary of Amazon. So, yeah, there's lots to like here, and they have the beverage brands. They're number 5 in terms of craft brewer in the U.S., and this is just after a very short period of time, and a 1.5 billion market cap, where Molson Coors has just north of 10 billion. So they're not that far away. And like I said, once they decide to run with it, they need to have the scale though, right? So Molson Coors getting out of it because they couldn't scale it. All the laws were different in every state. That's not conducive to business, right? You want to have all the same, you want to have at least 80 to 90% of a country on the same level playing field and rules of the road, right? You don't want to have to go to every state and then hire all these lawyers and different, legal experts and legal teams and, all these different compliance departments just to sell a product, right? Like it eats at the bottom line. It eats into all of these cost of goods sold, right? And it affects margins. So all of these things add up and it creates friction. So they said, we're not getting out of it forever. We're getting out of it for now. This is what Molson Coors said. And then they said they might get back into it in the future, but then they sold it to Tilray. And I think Tilray is just learning from their mistakes. And I think that's kind of smart because they sat on the sidelines and watched Hexo and Molson Coors go through it. They probably watched and learned a lot. And then when they acquired Hexo, they got all of that information anyway. And they were partnered with Hexo before they even acquired them. So then, they worked together through that alliance, strategic alliance. And then they acquired Hexo. They got that half or that 47.5% of trust. And then they acquired the rest from Molson Coors. And then they acquired 8 beverage brands from Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, right? So in my opinion, like this is a global powerhouse in the making, and they're very smart to not get into the hemp business just yet. Like Curaleaf is getting into it, but maybe they're going to figure it out. But I love Curaleaf. They're my second biggest holding, but there's going to be some challenges there, especially when, you have all these different regulations and different state laws, and it's going to be interesting to see how it is. But I think the best thing Tilray can do is just focus on growing their network, and they've got arguably the best brand with Sweetwater and the 420 brand, right? The 420 Pale Ale. They can easily infuse MJ or hemp into that, and Bob's your uncle, right? So I'm thinking, they're probably going to hold off a little bit for that. All the while they've been missing, yep, and then they jack up the estimates even more. Yeah, I think it was you, Sean, who sent me an email, was it? Yeah, sorry, I haven't got into... time is pretty limited these days, and a lot of my focus is on the POW community as well. But yeah, I think you sent me an email about that. Yeah, that's so frustrating too. Yeah, I agree. You have to wonder, right? That's going to be a celebration if it goes over. Yeah, you bet. Tilray has Highball Energy Seltzer to compete with Celsius brand, which is very popular in the U.S. Oh, really? Highball Energy Seltzer. I don't know if I've heard of that one. Oh, yeah, it's kind of reminding me now of something. A little light bulb going off in my brain here. Highball Energy. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's really... And they just launched the Canadians MJ Seltzers as well. So I did a review on these. Check this out. So the new Molo Seltzers so that used to be a Trust brand. Tilray acquired them, so now everything's just under their umbrella. They even got rid of the Trust website. So it's great. 0 sugars, 0 calories, only $4.42 Canadian with 10 milligrams THC and 20 milligrams CBG. Pineapple and mango, I like the mango the best. Grab these at Canna Cabana on the Elite membership, so High Tide subsidiary. But yeah, $4.42 Canadian for this. And it's got 10 milligrams of THC and 20 milligrams CBG. 0 sugar, and it tastes fantastic. Like that's like $3 US. And then only 5% sales tax here in Alberta. Like it's crazy. But yeah, those are really, really good too. All right, gonna end it for real this time. But yeah, thanks for that, Grit, and Sean, everybody else. I think I got everybody. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with POW Group. I really do appreciate all of the comments. I always come on here, probably, try to allocate like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and it usually goes an hour plus. And definitely doesn't feel like an hour plus. It's always a good time coming on, hanging out. So really do appreciate all the quality people and comments. Definitely does not go unnoticed. All right, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.